and welcome to the Creatives Get Real podcast. I'm Roben-Marie Smith.
And I'm Sandi Keene, and these are real conversations about the creative life. Hello, Roben-Marie.
Hey, dear, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Hey, I really like this topic. How about you?
You say that every week.
Well, yeah.
And then I say, true. I do too, every week.
But it's true.
I know.
This one I really like because here's our topic, 10 things we wish someone had told us.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we would have listened.
Yes.
And believed them when they told us.
And this is about the creative life, whether it's being a creative that's creating, using it as a business, all of those things. We kind of are looking at it from that broad angle.
Exactly. These are very personal to us. Us, like, these are things that, I wish I had known. And I might have done things a little differently.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go back and forth. You want to tell us your first one?
Okay, so these are in no particular order. I just happened to jot them down as I went. So I think the first one, and this kind of relates a little bit, I think it's why it was on my mind because we did a podcast on it not too long ago, is that there will be many times when you dislike creating and you feel like quitting. And you'll get past it. So don't think that each time that it's actually the end. And I think that's really important because I think that was something that kind of surprised me. It was like, I love creating. Why would I ever feel like I don't like it anymore or I don't want to do it? But as you go through the process of creating and of course your life changes. I mean, things in your life are changing, your circumstances change, and they all affect you mentally, which is part of where your creativity and the inspiration and all that comes from. So it's no wonder that you're going to have times when you're just like, I'm out. Or I just don't have the creativity anymore. Where did it go?
Right. Yeah. And that was a great episode. I actually listened to that one as if I weren't on there. And it's like, okay, I need to hear this one again. And that's about when you just want to quit. That was a great episode. And we got lots of feedback on that one.
Probably a lot. Probably one of our not the top, but I would say right up there at the top of comments.
Definitely the top 3.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And people, especially from people saying how timely it was, how they were saying, I was feeling this way. This came at the right time, which I love when that happens. So
me too. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my first one is don't buy every latest and greatest that is available. You won't use half that stuff, and eventually you're going to have to purge it.
Which means it'll be a burden to you eventually, right?
It absolutely will. Oh my gosh. There are so many things that I bought and tried one time and went, no. Not for me.
Yeah.
And I wish that I had, just taken a little more time to find out more about them and see if it fit into my style and my studio. Like, do I have space for this?
Sure.
Let's take it. I can't tell you how many people have told me like die cutting machines that they've bought and used once or twice.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that's relatively big. We're talking bread box size that you have to store somewhere and all the accessories. And if you don't ever use it and it's collecting dust and you spent $300, yikes.
True. Yeah. And I will say this, Sandi and I did these lists separate from each other. We are just now seeing what each other wrote. So there could be a little crossover, but we did not know. So my next one, I'm going to go ahead and do now because it does relate to what you just said.
Okay.
So, and basically my thought was when you discover a new art technique or process, don't run out and buy all the things. Isn't that funny how we both were thinking at? My advice was to play around first to make sure it's something that you want to do long-term before you invest your money into it. And it reminded me of the time where I just loved this jewelry making class. We were soldering and we were making our own stuff. And I just fell in love with all of it. And I wanted to do every bit of jewelry making. And I bought the pliers and the torches and the whole 9 yards and beads. And then it was like, what on earth did I just do? Like, I was like, this was so stupid. I still enjoyed it, but I was like, this is not something I'm going to do long term. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't see myself doing this. And it was like, wow, did I invest some money in some stuff? Thankfully, my girlfriend does it, so I was able to donate stuff to her. But it was
Mm-hmm.
like, that was really stupid. Really
Well,
stupid.
if it makes you feel better, I don't think there's anyone listening to this podcast, including me, who hasn't done that repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even learn. We don't even
Exactly.
learn from,
Yeah.
the whatever the big
Right.
machine we bought. We don't learn. We'll buy another one.
Because next time it's going to be different, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, you will find people who support you endlessly and people that will leave your life unexpectedly. You will not always be able to predict which is which.
Oh, that's deep, Sandi.
All
right.
Yeah.
Explain a little bit more on that one.
Well, there's often times that when you people come into your life and you're like, ooh, you're going to be around forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they aren't. And you're shocked. You're like, oh my gosh, I really thought this person and I were going to be very close for a very long time.
And you mean from the art, like you met somebody who artistically you gel with and you're friends with, and you feel like, okay, they're going to be part of my journey, my art journey. Kind of like we've been part of each other's art journey since we first met.
Right.
And
so that's 11 years or so.
I know. Can you believe
maybe
that?
more now.
Yeah.
So, and then there's people that you're like, oh, she's really nice, I like her. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh, she's really, really special. And those people that you didn't even know, like, I had no idea. And then you get really close and you stay friends for a very long time. But they often look alike or look like the opposite at the beginning. And you're shocked, like, didn't see that coming.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. That's very deep, Sandi. Great advice.
I'll try to be less deep on the rest of them.
All right. Okay. So if you decide to move your hobby toward a business, invest in starting out with the best record keeping system that works for you. I wish somebody had told me that. And let me preface this by saying, I hate bookkeeping. It is right up there with ironing and mopping. Like, I just hate it. I hate bookkeeping. And it will only be worse for you if you don't start out keeping good records. And I mean, if you're going to make this as a business, there's things you have to do every month. If you're a business, you got to submit things to the state every quarter. There's a lot of things that go into it. I don't think you realize it when you say, oh, I'm going to start a business. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in that realm that you just go, I don't want to do this because this isn't creative stuff. But I think if you set yourself out from the get-go of investing in a good system, whatever that is for you, and being consistent in using it, it will make your life so much easier than scrambling to try to find receipts or try to figure out what tax do I need to submit this month, all of that. So that was a big thing for me. And I know I resisted it because I hated it so much, and that just made things harder for me. So yeah.
That's great.
That's
advice.
A boring one, but that's a good one, I think, for
it's important
advice.
though. You're absolutely right. Well, mine is kind of ties into yours, and that is making a business of your passion requires you to settle for much less time with your passion, be it art, photography, home design, whatever it is.
So true.
I think that people don't understand that when you make let's just talk about art. If you go into an art business, you can count on doing 50% less art. Absolutely, positively. Because you're doing so much business stuff.
Yeah.
And that's social media, that's record keeping, like you said, it's receipts. It's answering emails from clients, from customers, all of that. There is so much business to business.
That's right.
And some people, once they realize it, say, no thanks.
Yeah, it's not for me. Yeah, I didn't realize that I would not have the time to be creating as much.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's totally a different side of your brain that you're engaging at that point.
And then because of that, you may just be too tired to go and create because you're exhausted from all that,
It's true.
All that bookkeeping.
Right. And email answering.
Yes, exactly. That's a big one. Okay, so my next one is sort of related to that. I was like, promoting your work will be hard and you will need to invest time into being diligent and consistent, which does relate to the business side of what you just said. It is that, but that alone, that's a big one. I think I didn't realize. And back when I started my business, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have Instagram. So the promoting of the business was traveling and teaching at art retreats and teaching at stamp stores and other stores that offered mixed media courses, because that was the way you got your name out there, because we didn't have those social media channels. Gosh, I just dated myself. But it's true. You had to do something. And so that was part of it. And then I got burned out on that. And then of course, now we have Facebook and Instagram, but now it's like a hamster wheel of just keeping up. It isn't, okay, I finally just posted something or I'm doing good. It's, okay, what are you doing now? Like, what's the latest thing? Because you're constantly having to keep up. And it is exhausting. It is time consuming. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a skill set you have to learn. Like marketing is a skill set that you have to know. You not only have to understand social media, but you have to be able to write copy, at least decent copy, or have a friend that writes good copy beggar. But I mean, it's skill sets that you may not particularly have and you need to brush up on.
Yeah. And that's hard. I think I didn't really quite realize all that would be involved. And she's kind of hinting at me because I'm not a copywriter. In fact, I cringe. I want to run away and scream, but it's really hard for me. And it holds me back at times from being able to really market and promote myself and my work like I want to. Yeah. And then if that's a skill set you're not really good at or you can improve, then you have to invest the time to get better at it. So there you go. That's not creating art. That's working on a skill set that's not related to art.
Right. And let's say you are good at copywriting, but you're not great at graphics.
Exactly.
That would be me. Because, I haven't had to do that much graphics because I'm in partnership with a graphic whiz. So, Ray Missickman does graphics and she's fantastic. But, if I had to do my own graphics, I'd be like, what's that stick figure doing?
That's funny.
Yeah, that would be sticky. Okay, is it my turn?
It is.
Okay, my next one is expect change. Expect it to be uncomfortable. As you grow in your creative life, you will experience transitions. Leaving behind the familiar and the safe can be scary. Walk through the discomfort and keep going. The journey is about transitioning and growing, and that can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Scary. Like when I decided I'm going to put acrylics down and I'm going to pick up watercolor. And you know what I know how to do in watercolor? Nothing. I know how to buy the supplies.
Good at that.
I know how to do that.
Yep.
But that's all I know.
Yeah.
And, you go from being proficient at one thing to an absolute noob who doesn't know how to hold a brush, how much water, all of that. So that's really uncomfortable. Like, crap, why can't I make this work?
Yeah.
And
pushing through it, like you said, and going, all right, it's uncomfortable, but I'm going to keep pushing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not
We've
good
all
at
done
that.
I don't, who is?
I just whine about it and go, I can't do it.
It's hard for everyone to do that.
It is. Okay, my last one, I said some of these are related to business. Continuing education is a must. Things change rapidly and you want to stay fresh with your knowledge, whether it's related to your art or the business side of creating. This is really important because I found myself in this place where I felt like, all right, I got it all. I know what's going on. I know how to do this, this, and this. All right, I'm solid. And then it became clear, oh my gosh, there's what now you got to do? And what is this? And then I was like, I realized quickly, you have to continually keep educating yourself. Again, taking time away from your art. But I love that part of it, but I didn't realize just how quickly things were changing in a period of time. I was like, oh my goodness, now I've got to brush up on this. I've got to learn how to do this and make sure that I know what's going on. Yeah. So I think that's important. And it's whether it's business related or even art related. I mean, I think don't ever think that you know all of it or you know enough.
Yeah.
Be curious and open to the fact that there's things you don't know that could really benefit you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can think of a whole list that's on my to-do list. Like, I need to learn more about the following topics.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you look at your schedule and you go, wonder where I'm going to fit that in.
Exactly.
It's
so
like,
true.
I'm not going to be painting again this week, am I? Okay, my last one is finding your community is vital. Put yourself out there and find people that are like-minded to share the adventure. They need you too.
Great advice.
It's so important. Can you imagine going through this journey without people to fall back on or to give you advice or just to say, hey, are you struggling with this too? How is this working for you?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think about just our relationship and you reaching out to me when you found me is like, you want to be friends? It was like, I can't imagine how different things would be for me if we had never met and I didn't know you.
Ditto. I can't believe, all the things that we brought to each other.
Yep. Exactly.
It was, this is a two-way street here. You taught me mixed media. You taught me ugly art. If you go back to one of our very first episodes.
Oh.
So yeah. And I mean, look at the people that are in our lives now that we met through creativity and art that I don't want my life without those people.
100%. Yeah.
And the grand thing is that our community, 99% of it is so welcoming and kind and wonderful that the odds of finding really cool people are huge.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's a good one to end on. That's a good one. Makes me feel good if you just think about, just think about it. All the people, just start picturing them in your mind, whether you've met them or whether it's all on social media and that's how you relate, or maybe you've emailed each other or whatever, or the wonderful mail that comes that just out of the blue, somebody sends you some pretty card or to encourage you. That's our community. And it's amazing. And I think it just, in those moments where you feel like, I'm just kind of here all by myself or whatever, you're not. Yeah.
And it can be as simple, I mean, the mail thing, you're right, that's lovely, but it can be as simple as a person who comments regularly on your stuff and just says the sweetest things.
Yep. Good point.
And lifts you up every time you read it.
Yep.
And you're like, wow, you don't know what this means to me. I know you don't. And that's really cool. So you never know how you're touching someone else.
That's right. You don't.
Yeah, that's a good note to end on.
I know. I agree. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We hope this has been beneficial to you.
Hopefully it hasn't talked you out of ever doing art again.
No, but these are things, like we said, that we wish that someone had said to us or told us. So, take them for what they're worth and, just kind of consider them.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Sounds great. Thank you for listening to this episode of Creatives Get Real.
We love hearing from you. So hop on over to Instagram and leave us a comment. And we also appreciate reviews on iTunes.
And you can find me, Sandi Keene, at sandykeene.com and my classes at popupartclasses.com.
And you can find me, Roben-Marie Smith, at robenmarie.com. And if you're looking for and need tech support, check out my membership site, makerstechu.com.